Hello everyone, this is Tack Knight is always right. Now, I might be all over the place in regards to this subject. It's mostly just a basic summary, unscripted, but it should be able to give you a small little summary of what Mgtow is and why Mgtow is very unreliable. The reason why Mgtow is very unreliable is mostly because it does not have any real tangible solutions to this feminist conundrum. It's basically a kosher question and doesn't actually give an actual, red pill answer. See, the number one problem with that I have with Mgtow is that, for starters, people are using the term Mgtow without even realizing who even owns the Mgtow website. The name, the face, who is pushing it, who is funding it. Another issue with Mgtow is, why are men becoming Mgtow? The darker side of Mgtow that nobody even wants to fucking describe. Like, everybody always thinks that their stupid ideology is always like the best one. All right? even for me, being a right winger, even Nazis have their flaws too. And that's the reason why communism is a lot more popular than National Socialism. The reason why is because when it comes to the right wing, it's only fit for the strongest, the smartest, the wisest, the more educated, the most, willed people. But 80% of the population does not have that type of mindset. They do not meet the minimum requirements to be strong, both mentally, physically, spiritually. All right? So that's the reason why communism appeals to these fucking idiots. And so basically, it's the exact opposite of that type of political, dichotomy. So to put it simply, my biggest concern with Mgtow that nobody really wants to answer is, in regards to Mgtow, what is Mgtow really going to solve? Is Mgtow actually going to take women's rights away? Are you actually going to get together? But that's the biggest funny thing about Mgtow is that you really can't do it without political, economical, or military power. So if Mgtow doesn't have any of those things, how are you going to solve anything? And you can't just say that it's just a philosophy. Everyone has a fucking philosophy. Who doesn't have a fucking philosophy? That fucking rock has a philosophy. That fucking turd has a philosophy. Everyone can have a fucking philosophy. We need an actual tangible solution to this problem. And Mgtow simply is not good enough to actually solve this issue. This is the reason why, certain religious groups, like Muslims, actually do take women's rights away. And it's becoming more and more popular. And what's going to happen is it's only a matter of time before white men are going to start becoming more Islamic and start basically practicing that faith, because Christianity doesn't do jack fucking shit. Neither has Catholicism. Neither has most other religions. The only religion I can think of is the unorthodox. And they're the only ones that actually have anything. Even ironically, the Mormons have more fucking way of keeping these bitches in fucking check. All right, they have more thought patrol, and it's the only closest thing that I know to white Islam. My other biggest concern in regards to Mgtow is, has anybody even bothered to ask any of these trannies, any of these furries or zoophiliacs, or any of the homosexuals if they have ever been Mgtow once in their life? Now, they may not have known what Mgtow is or the label, but what happens is that if you are staving off women and no longer consider women your highest priority, it is only a matter of time before you start becoming very narcissistic and your sexual urges start going elsewhere. So if your dick isn't going inside a woman's vagina, you're definitely going to start fucking animals, inanimate objects, or start fucking other men. You may think that this is like an attack in regards to Mgtow, but that's literally what's going to fucking happen. Like, it's basically the slippery slope. If you're not basically having any sexual desire because your body literally was designed for that purpose. And for those of you that have already had girlfriends before, an actual relationship with women, it is like a drug. And once you stop having that relationship with that woman and you break up with her, it literally will fuck up your mind. Your behavioral patterns, your hunger, your physical strength, you may just start giving altogether, and basically your body gives up on you. It's the same thing that the only time that your body starts basically exercising really hard is when you actually feel, legitimate pain, a threat to your actual life. That your body literally kicks in the adrenaline and is telling you, you need to fucking live. If you do not do this, you are going to die. But the funny thing is that nobody really intends to actually answer that question, because the Mgtow community, ironically, is controlled by those people. You know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that are actually red-pilled. And no, Mgtow is not an actual red pill. It is a purple pill at best. The reason why I really can't no longer tolerate the Mgtow community and the Mgtow mentality is because you're basically completely removing everything that actually is the real cause of this problem. And like I said, just to be able to prove it, all right? Mgtow has actually lost popularity at the same time Trump supporters have basically lost faith in Donald Trump. You can actually look up the Google Trends. They actually move simultaneously at the same time, and they both have plummeted, usually within similar time spans. And what a lot of people do not understand is that a lot of these men that are pissed off and angry, they're going to have to invest that energy elsewhere, and they're going to become more and more jaded over time. And you can thank the boomers for that. And a lot of them subconsciously do it, and that's including the Antifa and the alt-right, where they want to be able to take out their anger against the boomers and other similar groups. They're trying to take that anger, that energy, they want to be able to blame on someone, because it's definitely not their fucking fault. It really isn't. Because a lot of these problems that exist because the previous generations have a selfish, narcissistic mindset, like a virus, and has basically created the type of political environment that we have today. And like I said earlier before, if Mgtow isn't going to solve the problem in regards to basically taking women's rights away, and the people behind it who is funding this, because the ironic part about Mgtow is that it does not have any of the political backing, financial backing, or any military backing. And the reason I'm saying this is because give me a single institution that actually actively is fighting for men's rights. You can't find one. Because it doesn't exist. Because you see, shit really has to hit the fan to actually motivate men and basically diminish their numbers. See, when a forest grows too big, it's only natural for it to burn down. And right now, the current state of affairs, the cities are burning, but not enough. But the fire is already there, and it will spiral out of control. Another issue that I have in regards to Mgtow is, like I said earlier before, nobody knows who founded the Mgtow website, who owns the Mgtow website. And because of that, even if you do support Mgtow legitimately, genuinely want to support other men, there is no reason to be using the Mgtow label, because you're only going to be supporting the Mgtow brand. Basically, it's no different than a pyramid scheme. you're basically supporting a group or organization that has no real intention of actually financially supporting you, of actually giving you the political, political or economical power. It's basically no different than a paper tiger. It's really not going to do anything for your benefit. And that is my biggest problem in regards to this, because I don't really care much about the so-called Mgtow community. Like, every community that exists has been and never will support you. That includes gaming, that includes the right wing, it includes everything else. The only ones who seem to have all the power, because again, George Soros and the like, is the left wing. But that's only because they currently rule over us for the meantime. And the biggest problem that I have in regards to, like I said, the Mgtow, is because it's no different than feminism, but it's basically an empty husk of feminism. Because feminism, they actually have the entire media on their side. Doesn't matter how stupid it is, doesn't matter how much of an absolute failure it is. It's kind of like, if I have a cotton ball and I basically hit you with it, it's not going to do much. But if I smother you to death with tons and tons of cotton balls, you will suffocate and die. That's basically feminism in a nutshell. It may not be effective, in tiny amounts, but in a large, huge, giant wave, it will smother you to death, and it already is. And it doesn't matter how wrong feminism is, it's gaining popularity because they have no real opposition. Who is going to oppose them? You? I don't see Mgtow men running through the streets. I don't see any Mgtow men of different races, of different kinds, coming together and basically grouping up to take down feminism. They're not. The reason why is because it's basically men or male nature to support himself for the sake of himself, and yes, by race, and by ideology, even through sheer religion is enough to keep men binded together for a single cause. And that's the tragic part in regards to Mgtow, is that you can't have a diverse set of men being together trying to fight for the same limited amount of pussy, economy. It just doesn't work. I mean, it's just like what you understand about the 9-to-1 ratio of, if 9 men compete for 1 woman, they will kill each other because they want to have the same pussy. But you can have 9 women and 1 man, and those women will bend over, and get on their knees for that one single man. I know, because it's basically nature is unfair. And that's usually how it is. And that's the biggest problem with Mgtow, is that if you're going to try to stave off women, it is only natural that predatory gay men or pedophiles are going to get together to basically like a release valve to basically fulfill those sexual urges elsewhere. And that is my biggest concern. I don't need to have tangible evidence to prove it. It's something that already is happening, even on the left side of the political spectrum. If the very same male feminists who support these feminist groups, if they're not getting their dick wet, they're going to find somewhere else to quench that fucking thirst. And for me, I've been on the internet long enough to fully understand the really disgusting, degenerate parts of human nature. The gore, the brutality, the really type of things that really makes you lose faith in humanity in general. But that is the funny thing in regards to the Mgtow community, is that there is no community. There never will be. It is no different than the gaming community. Like for me, when I play Rainbow Six Siege, there is no community. It's just a bunch of individual men getting together, and basically they're not moving in the same direction. And that's the reason why the Rainbow Six community is toxic as it is. Same thing with Overwatch and League of Legends. There are those who are leaders and they know how to lead. And that is a very, very, very rare trait. You gotta have the mindset, you gotta have the dedication, the will, the discipline, the knowledge. And that's something a lot of people do not have. They do not have that alpha mindset, that alpha nature. And what happens is that when you got a bunch of pseudo, alphas, in other words, betas, pretending to be alphas, they're always going to fail. And they have nothing to show for it. That's the reason why I really cannot trust Mgtow, because ironically, it does not have anything to support it. It doesn't have any real backing. It's not what I can do for Mgtow. It's what is Mgtow going to do for me. It's no different than working for a company. You can give your life, your time, your energy, and literally give your soul to a company. But if that company is not going to give you your benefits, if it's not even paying you enough money to even make a basic living, it doesn't matter how much you sacrifice. You're easily replaceable. You're just simply a replaceable asset. Very disposable, and you're simply a means to an end. That's the reason why I really do not trust Mgtow that much, because it doesn't have any real backing. It doesn't have any real legitimacy. And the reason why a lot of people do not understand is that I was in fact banned, not once, but twice from the Mgtow forums. Now, why do I say this? I was asking too many pressing questions in regards to Mgtow and its community. And like I said earlier before, in regards to who owns the Mgtow website, what purpose does it serve? How is it being financially backed? How are these moderators being paid? And the funny thing about, you know what they say about Jennies, they definitely work for free, and they mostly do it for hot pockets. And that's my biggest problem with Mgtow, is that a good portion of the community did in fact defend my point of view, more like my facts of view, because, like I said earlier before, who is promoting this? How can you even have this kind of website? I mean, it's a professional grade website. I have not seen many like these. It's not like a shitty, forum like NeoGAF or some other gay ass shit. But it is a well-oiled machine. But the problem is this shit ain't cheap. And nobody's going to do it really for free unless there's some kind of financial, or political, or some kind of means to an end. So for me, I personally think that Mgtow is a release valve to basically direct men away from the right-wing red pill in regards to basically National Socialism. Because it basically feeds off the narcissism in regards to men. That yes, women have no reason to even fuck you. They don't really desire to be with you. It's basically the government is the biggest pimp out of all, and is done out of your own expense. And so you really cannot challenge the government. The government fulfills both monetary, military, security, economy, everything. It fulfills everything for women, and it basically devalues men. And that's the biggest problem. In regards to, what happens is if we have a bunch of angry men getting together, it is only natural that they're going to become right-wing. The biggest problem is, like I said, Antifa is being used as a release valve as well. And so basically, they too want to fight against the system, but they're useful idiots fighting for the system to basically fight you, the people on the right. People who are Christian, people who are traditional, people that have actual morality, people that actually want to secure the existence of their people, usually white people in general. And the thing is that, like I said, Mgtow really doesn't solve anything. It's just basically a genetic dead end. There's nothing that you really can prove to me that Mgtow is for your benefit when Mgtow does not control the sex doll industry. They do not control the cloning industry. They control nothing. They do not provide any real tangible solutions to these problems. And that's the reason why I cannot really support Mgtow, because I've seen it for what it truly is. I mean, you can put as infinite amount, just to be pragmatic here, you can put an infinite amount of time and get absolutely zero in return. You can be the best Mgtow, all right? You can be more popular than Sandman by 1,000 fucking fold. You can make videos and streams. You can even, have as much popularity as possible, but it's not going to solve the actual problem of basically the system that we have. They want to keep it that way. They basically are using different methods, different psyops, we like to call it gay ops, to be able to make sure to keep the pressure and release it in a certain general direction that is within their favor. It's no different than a river. If you want to be able to prevent a dam from, bursting and breaking, you have to be able to siphon off some of that, water and move it to another general direction. You have to either make it wider, larger, create, other rivers, create other dams, any method possible. But the dam is already starting to crumble, and Mgtow has already lost its popularity. Don't believe me? Go look up the Google Trends. I have it in the description. You can see for yourself. It basically had risen in its popularity, but it has no. It basically, like I said, a lot of men have the red pill rage. They get angry, they get disgruntled, but at the end of the day, they really just do not get the results that they want, and that's the biggest problem. They know this subconsciously. And that's my biggest concern in regards to Mgtow, is that it really doesn't solve anything at all. You get pissed, you get angry, you want to find, you want to find answers and solutions, but it's not going to actually fix the issue. And that's the reason why the only solution, of course, is the final solution. But nobody wants to go that route. Nobody's willing to fight. Nobody's willing to, to bleed or make other people bleed for what they believe in. And that's the biggest concern, is that the shit does have to hit the fan, and it's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's going to separate the chads from the cucks. So if you're not, preparing to be a chad, you're definitely preparing to be a cuck. And like most cucks, a lot of them are going to get wiped out of the fucking gene pool. And a lot of them, who should never have, basically what I call abortion dodgers, that shouldn't have been alive in the fucking first place, are going to be the first ones to die. So instead of playing Battle Royale and wasting your time on video games, how about you actually practice for the upcoming Battle Royale, or basically the race war? Because if you don't choose a side, well, the decision will be made for you. And yes, your skin color will be your uniform. And no, there is no choice. Because, well, you know what they say, It was rigged from the start. But yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to what I was discussing about in regards to Mgtow. I know it's like a very long ass video, but it's something that I've been trying to talk about for quite some time. The reason why I don't edit these videos is mostly due to the fact that it really isn't profitable to tell the truth. The truth is not profitable. That's the reason why it's being very heavily censored. That's why the cancel culture exists. I mean, just think about it. Why would anyone want to be accept? Why would they even want to accept reality when they don't have to accept reality? Show me, prove it to me. If you can plug yourself in to a virtual world and be whatever you want to be, an anime girl, you can be what do you call it? You can be a fat man and be a fucking princess, and you can literally be a princess and be a fat man. I mean, who's gonna stop you? So the biggest thing is the reason why the digital scape exists, or cyberspace, is because meat space is not providing any real tangible solutions. And that's what's happening. Slowly, steadily, people are going to plug in. It's going to happen, and it's going to get worse. And it's going to become more and more dystopian. That's the reason why, for me, I'm more pro-accelerationist, because if you don't prepare for the fucking worst, you're going to basically become historical roadkill. So if you're not here to solve your problem, the problem will solve you. And that's literally the end result. So thank you very much for watching, guys, for listening to my shitty fucking commentary. But I will try to make more professional videos discussing these issues. I keep fucking it up. Discussing these issues in regards to this problem and why Mgtow is unreliable. I cannot put my faith in it. And the worst part are the ones who are, promoting Mgtow, but they're not actually, they know full well what they are doing. But the worst part is that, nobody's challenging them on it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about once you actually see the type of things I'm going to say. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.